Today we're putting the Cosori Iconic Air Fryer to the test, and not just with a quick unboxing. I'm diving deep to see if it actually lives up to the hype. After doing some research, this air fryer stood out to me as one of the healthier options on the market. It features a ceramic coated interior that is PFA, PFO, Teflon-free, which is honestly a huge plus if you're trying to avoid those materials in your kitchen. But before we get into the cooking test, I did want to talk about first impressions. I didn't want to just breeze past the unboxing because honestly, this kind of felt a little different. Right off the bat, you get a beautiful put together manual with a full recipe book, a user guide, and even a quick start insert to get it going fast. And then the details. The air fryer comes in its own dust bag. I can't say I've ever seen an appliance come in its own dust bag before, but even the cord had its own dust bag. The whole experience just felt surprisingly luxurious, which definitely caught my attention. Another cool feature is the companion app you can download. It's going to walk you through the air frying process step by step, which is perfect whether you're a beginner or just want a little extra guidance. Now in this video, I'm going to be testing a variety of foods in the air fryer just to see how it really performs, but make sure to stick around to the end because I'll be sharing my honest, final thoughts on whether it actually works. Okay, so I do want to go over a couple specific things about the Cosori Iconic stainless steel air fryer. So first off, it looks gorgeous. It is just, in general, stunning. Now, I haven't cooked with it yet. I'm just gonna tell you a little bit about it, but stay tuned because I plan on trying several reheating stuff, cookies, pasta, all kinds of things coming up. So we are going to put this through a test. Cosori did send this to me. However, they're not paying me for this at all. So everything I say is going to be genuinely how I feel about it, how I think it works. It kind of came at a great time because I was already looking for a more non-toxic option of an air fryer because I've recently been using my air fryer a ton. But I wanted something that didn't have Teflon in it. This bad boy, it is minimal plastic. It has a metal interior. The actual coating is PFA, PFOA, and Teflon-free. So that is a huge deal to me. Now with the ceramic coating, you are still going to get the non-stick properties, just like if you've seen any of my other videos where we use a ceramic interior of an item. It's a safer version to get that same non-stick outcome. While we're talking about the drawer of the air fryer, it is dishwasher safe. I don't personally put my air fryer stuff in the dishwasher. I feel this way about a lot of things that say they're dishwasher safe. They may be, but that doesn't mean over time that it won't wear it down. So for me, I just like to keep my items as pristine as possible, and so I do hand wash mine, but it is technically dishwasher safe if you're, in a pinch, want to do it fast. Just don't feel like washing dishes. And the final thing I want to talk about is the price. So this is, a decent little price on it. It's $250. I feel like you have to look at your items in your kitchen as like a cost per wear type thing. This is girl math. If you use something a lot, then that cost per use is going to be slightly lower. I do think it's worth the premium price tag for the premium quality, the premium look. Now, the one thing I don't know yet is how it cooks. So once I get through all these testings, I will let you know if I still think it's worth the money. Let's get into testing. Let's see if this thing is as amazing as I think it's gonna be. All right, one thing to note that's a little bit different, I haven't seen this on an air fryer, and I've used a couple different air fryers, but it actually has like a lock. You have to press that button to release it to open the drawer. I actually really like that. Especially if you have kids. I don't know why, but it just, to me, seems like if it's really hot, a kid could grab it and pull it out kind of like any other hot item, but this, you actually have to click the button to release it to get into the air fryer. Okay, so I'm actually outside. I am going to do the first run, and just so it'll clean off all of the chemical stuff. So I'm gonna turn it on. I've seen where people do different temperatures and different lengths of time. I'm going to be a little over cautious on it to burn off all the chemicals. So I'm actually going to do the first run at 420, and I think I'm gonna do it at 12 minutes. And like I said, I'm doing this outside. A lot of reviews I've seen said that it doesn't have a really extreme smell, but I just want to be 100% sure, that it's as safe as it can be in my house. So I'm running this outside for the first time to cook off all of the chemicals. Okay, so this has finished. And I'll be honest, I just walked out here and I can definitely smell a little bit of a smell, so I do recommend doing this outside. Any type of machine that you get like this, the first run, I always think it's good to do outside in a vented area because you are burning off some of those chemicals. So I'm gonna go ahead and I've let this cool for 5 minutes, and I'm going to take this inside and we can start testing. So for this test, I'm doing some chicken breast, like nugget things that I cut up, just chicken chunks, I guess. I do this all the time in the air fryer, and I love it because it's easy and quick, to be honest with you. And this stuff comes out juicy, even if you overcook it a little bit, and I do tend to overcook my chicken a little bit. I know that's against popular belief, but in the air fryer, it still seems to stay pretty moist. So I'm gonna put this in right now, and this will be for 2 different meals. I'm going to do a grape feta walnut salad, and I'll show you how I do that later, and then also a pasta where I'm gonna use some of this, and I'm gonna do both the pasta and the grape salad in the air fryer. So I'm gonna put this in, and then I am gonna do air fry for this. 385 is good. And actually, let's start with, I usually do 12 minutes, so we'll do 12 minutes, and then I want to do the shake reminder so I can actually flip the little chicken over. So let's try this. Okay, it just beeped and it's saying shake, so I'm going to open this and flip these. Okay. Ooh, look how nice. All right, let's check the chunky ones and see if we're up to the 165. Yeah, I do usually check several of them, all my thick ones at least. Yeah, I think we're good. So I'm just gonna let these sit and cool down for just a minute, and then they'll be ready for the salad and then our pasta tomorrow night. So these are red seedless grapes, and I usually do like 10 to 15 per person, depending on how big the salad's going to be. Then you add just 1/4 of a cup of walnuts, roughly 1/4 of a cup. And I do that per person. So you can scale the salad however you want. A little splash of olive oil. You don't need a lot. And then just some salt to taste. That was about 1/8. I think this is 1/8. So that was about 1/8 of a teaspoon, and this is for 2 people. Give it a good mix. Now for this, I am going to use a liner because I actually took the air frying tray out because we don't need it for this. I am going to bake it, and I'm using a liner because it really, for this, doesn't need as much airflow. What we're looking for is for the grapes to blister and burst. Move that around a little bit. Now I'm going to bake this at 350. I'm going to just do 8 minutes. It doesn't take super long. So for this salad, I just added arugula and then my leftover chicken that I air fried along with some feta. Then once cooled, I add the baked walnuts and grapes out of the air fryer, and honestly it was so much easier in the air fryer. I was able to just put it in there, start it, and it was finished instead of having to wait for the oven to preheat and then still bake. Okay, so this is not much to look at right now, but we're going to do the viral boars and cheese tomato pasta thing. We're actually going to bake the sauce in the air fryer. I'll link the recipe below, and then use the chicken I made earlier along with some pasta that we're gonna throw in here. So we will see how this turns out. It says to bake at 360 for 10 minutes. I'm just going to move some stuff around, make sure the milk. I will say this is something nice about an air fryer, the shaking versus like having to open a hot oven. This is much more convenient. Okay, it just ended. And here's what it looks like. It is definitely toasty. We're gonna go and add the pasta and the chicken, and we will be back. Here it is. We tasted it, tastes great. So excellent way to do an easy pasta without messing up your entire kitchen. Okay, one of the things you have to test is reheating pizza, right? The sacrifices I've had to make. But no, I am going to go ahead and put this in and reheat it just to see, you know, how it repeats just old school delivery pizza. I'm kind of curious on how much is going to fit in here. So these are just like, wow, that is slippery. Look at it slide. Impressive for the non-stick. Let's put that big boy in there. All right, let's close it up. I've been trying to keep this clean, but I definitely need to get a stainless steel cloth to make sure my fingerprints don't show on it. But that is something to think about. Is it's like all other stainless steel products. If you don't want fingerprints to show, you're going to have to take care of it. So just make sure that you get the right cloth and wipe it down and keep it nice and shiny. Turn it on. I think I'm going to reheat air fry for 4 minutes at 350. Yeah, let's try that. Okay, I wanted to check the pizza because it kind of smelled like it was starting to burn. I think it's pretty close, but I wanted you to see when I open the drawer, it actually pauses. A lot of air fryers will keep going. This one actually paused, and when I close it back, it starts back. Love that feature. Okay, it's about to finish. I wanted you to see what happens when it finishes. That is it. A couple dings, and you know. Let's look at this pizza. It looks good. Okay, let's see. Whew, it is toasty. Crust is crusting. Oh, I'm gonna have to, that is hot. Let's see if I can flip it so we can see if the bottom. It's not like super crispy, but that could just be because this is a little bit of a greasy pizza. I mean, it's not that it's not, it's just still a little floppy, but she is hot. So let me taste it. Crispier than I thought when you actually eat it. Yeah, that's a decent little, look at that. Decent little heat up. Another check mark for the Cosori. So one thing that people don't conventionally think about air frying are biscuits, and they're so good air fried. So I'm going to put these in here, and I Googled it. These usually bake at 375 for 20 to 23 minutes. So it says to air fry it at 350 for 10 to 14 minutes. So we're gonna start at 10 and just see what happens. Okay, these have about 3 minutes. I just want to take a look at them. Oh, they are looking great. I think 10 minutes is going to be perfect. All right, the biscuits just finished, and they look great. I love doing biscuits in the air fryer. I just think they get really crispy outside, and then the inside is still super soft. So love biscuits in the air fryer. Also, this only took 10 minutes versus the 21 minutes that it takes in the oven. Now I'm going to try just some chicken nuggets in the air fryer, and the directions say 350 for 8 minutes. Okay, chicken has finished. Look at that golden brown. This is just so easy and convenient. And I actually made the chicken and the biscuits together, and we have some green beans, but I just want to show you the inside of that biscuit. I mean, it is just delicious looking. Okay, so stay with me on this one. I have never tried anything like this in the air fryer, but we're going to try it right now and really test the Cosori air fryer. So this is a chicken pot pie that I get from a local bakery, and you are supposed to bake it at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 45 minutes. So I've seen this on a lot of reviews that the back grate part back here gets really, really hot, and as you can see, like closer to the top it's like 300 and parts are like 200. So yeah, this part gets really, really hot, and you are supposed to keep these like 5 inches away from any wall. I'm lucky that I have like an island area that I can do it, but yeah, you do need to be cognizant of how hot this gets and that hot air blowing out of it. But other than that, everywhere else is very touchable. So I'm not really sure what happened to the audio, so I'm just going to tell you what happened. The pie did take a little bit longer for me to get it to the internal temperature of 165, but if I'm honest, I never even check the internal temperature in the oven. I just go by the directions, but with the air fryer, I wanted to test it, so I'm going to start testing it if I do it in the oven ever again. But I thought the crust turned out great in the air fryer. Like I said, this was the first time I've ever cooked something like that because my other air fryer isn't big enough to hold this pie, and this one is. I think that's great about the compartment or the actual drawer that you are using. It was big enough to hold an entire pie. I thought this was easy and convenient. Like I said, the crust turned out great, but it did take a little bit longer. Okay, this is something I cook in the air fryer all the time. It's just little chicken sausage. I air fry them at 390 usually for 6 minutes in my other air fryer, and they usually turn out perfect. So I'm gonna try them in this one. They turned out perfect. I love that they turn out a little bit burned and have like almost like a little bit of a grill mark, but if you did want them a little bit darker, you could go longer. This is just how I like them. I also made some carrot pancakes the other day, so I'm just gonna throw these in here for breakfast with my chicken sausage, and I'm just going to air fry these for 2 minutes. And I like that pancakes like this, it gets a little bit of a crusty exterior and warm through the center. So I love heating things up in the air fryer. And so far, this one has been great. So in less than 10 minutes, I have my breakfast. Okay, I'm always doing like chunk chicken, or like I cut my chicken up before I put it in the air fryer, but I wanted to see how this air fryer did with just a whole piece of chicken. So I had it in there at air fry for 20 minutes, and it's pretty close. I've never done this in another air fryer, so I don't really have anything to compare it to. I am gonna let it go a couple more minutes to get it to 165, but I mean, all I did was put some salt and pepper on it. Like, it was so easy to throw it in there. Okay, I let it go for 5 more minutes. And I did do this at 350. You could air fry it a lot higher heat. Oh yeah, she's done. Let's check the thick part on this one. Oh yeah, they're done. They look great. So yeah, takes a little bit longer if you don't cut them into chunks, but it'll do a whole chicken breast pretty easy. Okay, so tonight I'm actually going to test some chocolate chip cookies. So what I usually do is bake for 325, and then I usually do it for 10 minutes. And I did want to just show, when I did the bake, it automatically adjusted the fan speed to just 3. That is one really cool thing I've noticed with this, is that you can change the fan speed on this. So, but I guess that's the difference in the air fry. The air is like circulating a lot more, whereas the bake, it really is just like a bake option. I did check these a second ago. They look pretty good. I think they need just a minute more. So I think I'm going to do the bake. I actually think I'm gonna give them 2 minutes and see if that does better. And then I will actually let them cool inside the air fryer for about 4 to 5 minutes. I will say, they don't look as pretty coming out of the air fryer as they do the oven. If you're just cooking it for yourself, this is absolutely the way to go. Super soft. Okay, so tonight I want to try air frying 2 different things, the salmon and the potatoes together. The salmon usually cooks at like 375 to 400 for like 12 minutes. And then the potatoes are usually 400 at like 20 minutes. So I cut those in half to help with the cooking time, to help them cook all evenly. I'm going to put this in at 400 for 12 minutes, and then I'll check to see if the salmon is at 145 degrees Fahrenheit. So we're gonna get this in and see how it does cooking 2 different things at one time. I am gonna use the shake function and make sure I mix the potatoes halfway through. Okay, so it is time to shake. Looks pretty good. All right, I'm just gonna toss these a little bit, make sure they're getting even cooking. And if you can see, I actually put a liner underneath the tray. I wanted to keep the bottom cleaner, but still have the airflow from the crisper tray. So that's why I put that in the bottom this time. Okay, so this looks amazing. I have to say, it's good and crusty and golden on the side. Let's check and see if the temperature of the fish, 145, and still going up. Both fish are done. And then let's see if the little potatoes are finished. Okay, they are very hot, but I just bit half of this one and it is perfectly cooked through. I mean, that's awesome. We were able to cook all of that in one pot, and my sister has some green beans on the stove. Super easy cleanup. All right, I just tasted the salmon. It came out perfect. The outside is nice and crispy. I mean, not super crispy, but like a good crisp to it, and the inside's still super moist. I just think you have to think about the timing a little bit when you're cooking them both in an air fryer, just like you do with the oven, but turned out delicious. Okay, so for dessert, I'm actually going to be making some caramelized bananas, and we just brushed on some melted butter and then did a cinnamon sugar mix on top. So first thing you have to do is actually preheat your air fryer. So it's at 390, and when I preheat, I usually let it run for 2 minutes. That's as long as I've found that you really need to preheat it. So preheating for 2 minutes, and then we'll bake for 7 minutes at 390. All right, the bananas are finished. I just wanted to see if they needed to caramelize a little bit more because these were not super ripe. I think these could go just 1 more minute and maybe crisp up the outside a little bit more. Okay, much better. I'm going to pull these out and put a little bit of ice cream, maybe some walnuts and little chocolate chips, and I will be back to show you how this recipe in the air fryer turned out. Okay, here is the dessert, the little caramelized banana, and this is a honey cinnamon protein ice cream I found with some little mini chocolate chips and walnuts, and then we just fanned a couple of strawberries, trying to make it look pretty. So yeah, excited about this. Let me taste the banana and let you know how it is. Wow, the banana is pretty good. It's very soft, but it definitely has like that caramelized top, the kind of like sticks to your teeth type caramelization. But yeah, this is pretty good. I haven't tried everything, but the bananas definitely turned out good. Okay, final thoughts on the Iconic Air Fryer by Cosori. Overall, I really, really like it. I've had a couple air fryers in the past, and so far I will say this is my favorite. My other air fryer was like a dual compartment, so I really like the size of this one compartment. I felt like I was actually able to do a little bit more. So I thought that was really neat to be able to try out. I think it's pretty high quality, very good power. The fan's good, but it's not so loud that it's wild. It doesn't get hot to touch except for the back grate. I tested so much stuff in it, like so much. I mean, for the past 2 weeks, I've almost been exclusively cooking almost every meal with this thing. So I really, really wanted to give it like a good test, and I have been so happy with it. It has replaced my other air fryer. This will be what is going on my countertop from now on. And obviously it's gorgeous, like I said before. It was super easy to clean. I did actually burn a little something on the bottom of it, and I just used some dish soap, was able to clean it out very easily. I do hand wash mine, even though it is dishwasher safe. But yeah, if you are looking for an air fryer, I highly suggest looking at this one. Definitely do your own research. But if you are looking for that interior option that isn't Teflon, the whole PFA, PFO free, definitely take a look at this one. I have been thoroughly impressed. Yeah, there you have it. If you have any questions, let me know, and I will see you next week. Thanks, bye.